Well, hey there, Bucket Pond family. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 421. Today we are building an indoor bucket pond, and the goal is to grow pond plants and raise mosquito fish indoors. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I am using a 17-gallon bucket from the dollar store. I got this for half price, and I got a few of these a while back. So it was $4, and I think it's perfect for this project. I have cut a notch in the rim of the container, and I've added an aqua clear 30-gallon hang-on back filter. It's perfect for this project, and the container remains strong and durable after the cut. Now, on this hang-on back filter, I've added an extension to the intake, bringing that down to the bottom of the tank with a sponge filter on top of it. This will prevent any snails or fish fry from getting sucked into the filter. I also believe that having the intake down at the bottom of the tank may have other benefits. Now I'm adding a handful of lava rock to increase the surface area for beneficial bacteria and some marble chunks to help control water parameters. We're going to use this metal piece from one of my jars as a clip to hold some plants in place, namely this pothos right here. I am very new to pothos, to the plant family, but these plants are growing really well in my jar aquariums, and I'm excited to see how they function in a fish tank or a pond type environment. So you'll use our clip here to just kind of hold that in place. I don't want to have it floating all wild in the tank. It'll probably end up submerged. So we'll clip it to the side here and try to manipulate the vine a bit. But yes, I'm confident pothos will grow in this container. Now we're going to add some hornwort as well. Each plant that I work with is special to me in some way. You know, I got the hornwort from a friend. I did purchase it, but they gave me a good deal. And some of my other plants were gifts and things like that. They're all special to me. But I want to have a ton of floating plants in here because my mosquito fish are essentially wild. They like to hide. And all of these little crevices and little nooks and crannies created by these floating plants will give spaces for my microfauna to hide out as well. And speaking of which, we're going to dump this jar into the pond just like that, full of ostracods and copepods and all the fun stuff we work with. Going to add some frog bit in here as well. So these floating plants, they will provide cover and habitat for everything that will live in this pond. Really, the mosquito fish are wild and they are predators. They will hunt and kill every little critter they find. So it's important that we give hiding places for both the fish and for the small critters that we hope to keep in here as well. So my mosquito fish, you guys, they will breed outdoors happily, but they will never breed in one of my fish tanks. It's been a problem. I'm going to add some Zola fern here, some mosquito fern, as the name fits with our project. But yes, my mosquito fish, they will not breed indoors. They will hold their fry for a long time. And it's either a seasonal thing, temperatures, or maybe they are stressed out. So I'm trying to find the answer here. We have a dark pond. It's going to be very dark inside. They should feel very safe and able to disappear as needed. I'm also making sure that they'll have tons of food. This is bucket ponds. I mean, I bleed microfauna, you guys. So yes, my fish will be well fed. If we do get them to breed in here and we start to raise mosquito fry indoors, I have some big plans. So I did want to add some bladder snails to this project, but I did not want to scoop them out with a utensil or a tool. I didn't want to hurt them. So instead, I just happened to find a leaf they were on, and I just brought that into the tank. They came from the wild aquarium. They are all white, gray, or translucent. That's most likely not important, but I like to document the bloodlines of bladder snails and where they end up. So yes, now we will add our mosquito fish. This is day 2, and you will finally see the mosquito fish. These guys are awesome little pets. They are wild. I have been breeding them in the pool ponds for a while now. They are part of that family. But I worry if something happens to the pool ponds, they will be gone. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want my family of mosquito fish to go extinct. So we will be trying to raise them indoors and hoping for the best. I know I can keep them alive. That's not a problem. They are very tough, but getting them to breed in a controlled, observable situation has been problematic. My guppies are far more inclined to reproduce rapidly. So I'm hoping that our mosquito fish female here, that she'll lay a whole bunch of fry, or spit fry, I guess I should say. They are live bearers like guppies, and so when she does have babies, they will be just tiny little fish, and we should see them in the container. Now, these mosquito fish, these wild parents, they are going to be very shy, very skittish. We will not see them much. We're not going to have breakfast and, stare at them, make eye contact. It's not going to happen. But they're here, and we can see them occasionally. I'm hoping that their fry will be far more used to life in a fish tank, and they'll be more friendly, we can say. That's just a theory. It may take several generations before I can fully domesticate these guys. It may not even happen in my lifetime. But one day I hope to have the toughest, most aggressive little strain of guppies. These guys are related to guppies. They are similar in some ways. They cannot crossbreed. I have tried. I've looked into it. It's not going to happen. But they are similar, though the mosquito fish are more aggressive. So here we have a jar full of my scuds. These guys are bonkers. They came from the fishbowl aquarium, and it is very green in there. But I don't mess with it because we are breeding hundreds and hundreds of scuds. I'm just going to dump them in, and there's always a few stragglers when you dump them out of a jar like that, so make sure that you save them as well. My mosquito fish may eat them. They may not. They might be reluctant friends. Who knows? Either way, life goes on. And now I have a secondary goal for this container. You guys have heard me talk about drainflies quite a bit, and here are some drainfly larvae. These little bastards get into my aquariums and they kill and eat everything that caused the tanks to crash. They don't eat plants, but they do eat my pets, and that is a problem. So I'm hoping that we can just dump them in here and my mosquito fish will eat them happily. And that's the plan for this project. They will have tons of live food because every time I find a drainfly, he's going right in here. And he's going to get eaten by my little guppy-sized sharks. That's the plan, yeah. But I'm also hoping that this large open body of water will attract the drainflies and trick them to trying to breed in here, thus providing free food for my fish, and possibly eliminating the chances of them breeding in some of my jars. It turns out that any container with a fish is completely impervious to the drainfly devastation. So, yeah. A fellow YouTuber named Langerman, Random Bits, I should say, his name is Random Bits now. He's been on a journey to raise and develop the smallest guppy strain, and I think that's really cool. And, I could use something like that in my jars. And our friend Clay Wise even sent me some rice fish, who are very, very small. And unfortunately, I lost them in the great hurricane disaster a few years ago. But, it is what it is. I try not to think about it. Maybe one day we'll try again. But as it is, we have our mosquito fish, and they are with us. They are part of the Bucket Ponds biome. And speaking of which, I'd like to feed them some more. I want to make sure they have a ton of microfauna to feed upon. Now, these are mostly my larger ostracods. They may be too large for the fish to eat them. They might even survive getting eaten. I'm not quite sure. But there are some other things in here like copepods and detritus worms and paramecium and all the fun stuff that wild fish will enjoy. Those ostracods should not be able to hurt my fish, though that is a remote possibility if their population becomes insane. So we'll have to keep an eye on this pond. If it becomes overpopulated with ostracods, we may have a problem. But as it is, they should be okay. So this jar comes with some water meal, which will look like a bunch of green dust floating in the water and sticking to my hand. And it also comes with some alligator weed. Now, the alligator weed isn't exactly planned for this pond, but in my experience, it's good to have a wide variety of plants to ensure success. You can see that water meal there. But yeah, just like my sealed ecospheres, I enjoy having several different options for the plants in any project. Because I'm not perfect, you guys. I am not a botanist, nor do I intend to become one. I'm simply a guy who throws plants into a bucket and hopes for the best. and it works more than you might think. So, yeah, we'll prop the alligator weed over there. It should be fine. That hang-on back was one I had laying around. I did not think it even worked, but I had a spare impeller, and so I was able to repair it. Ultimately, I spent nothing on this project, just used stuff that I had laying around. A large container, an old hang-on back filter, some stuff from my ponds. That's great. This is day 5, and I stuttered a little bit there. The frog bit looks good. You may notice it had really, really long roots when we first put it in here. It's because it was nutrient deprived. In this build, it seems to be doing better. That or some of the roots have broken off, who knows. I did throw a few pieces of squash in here for the snails and microfauna. That stuff's all gone now, so it's been eaten. And ultimately, the pond setup is a success. I've shown you how to assemble a bucket pond that you can keep anywhere. I got this one in the house. It's in the fish room. And I do have some linoleum in here and stuff. I hope to refurbish this room one day soon, as funds allow. But yeah, guys, we built a beautiful functional indoor pool pond with a filter. Yes, and the goal is to raise mosquito fish and get them to reproduce. I do have a wild aquarium where those snails came from, and there is a single mosquito fish female who I have raised from a fry in there. And if things go well, we'll bring a male from this tank over to her aquarium and get her breeding and, yeah, double our chances. So, you guys, I'm very happy. I know this isn't the big conclusion you're hoping to see like a year later, but this is Bucket Ponds. I try to do like an episodic type thing. We've seen the setup. We'll see this tank again as interesting things happen. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun. I love doing this. I hope that you guys like the videos. I know it's not perfect, but nothing is. And, you know, you never, how do they say that? You miss every shot that you do not take. So I'm out here taking shots. I'd be doing this stuff anyway, whether or not anyone watched. So I'm just hoping to find friends out there who, you know, think about similar projects and similar ideas. And actually, some of you guys have given me like amazing ideas, and you've improved the bucket pond biosphere just through comments and stuff. So thank you. Anyway, guys, big thank you to my YouTube members, my Patreon supporters, my people tipping on Buy Me a Coffee. And if we ever get a tip over there. But really, every member of the Bucket Ponds community, friends, people I've met in person, everybody, thank you. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you again next week with more video content, more Bucket Ponds type stuff. And it'll be a little janky, but we might learn something. We'll definitely have some fun.